Our topic for today is about solving problems involving permutations. Let us define first the following. The first one, we have permutation. So when you say permutation, it means arrangement of objects. So arrangement is very important with permutation. So we have different kinds of permutations. We have the linear, circular, and permutations with identical objects. In linear permutation, it refers to the number of ordered arrangement of objects. Ito yung pinakasimpleng permutation. Saan, ang gagamitin lang natin dito ay yung pinaka-formula ni permutation. Ano ba yung pinaka-formula ni permutation? Yun yung NPR is equal to n factorial over n minus r factorial. So, yan lang yung gagamitin natin kapag linear yung ating permutation. Okay? Next, circular permutation. When you say circular permutation, arrangement of objects in circular manner. When you say circular manner, pabilog ang kanyang arrangement. So, magkaiba ang formula ni linear kaysa kay circular kung saan itutukuyin natin to mamaya. Okay? Next tayo. The third kind of permutation, permutation with identical objects, where the objects are not distinct. Meaning, yung ating object na involved ay merong parehas na object. So, hindi siya magkakaiba. Okay? Now, let us move with linear permutation. Example of linear permutations. Linear permutation. Example number 1. In how many ways can 5 photo album be arranged in a shelf? First, let us find how many objects are involved. So, our objects, that is our n, the answer is 5 objects. So, ilan yung i-arrange mo sa shelf? 5 pa rin. So, you are going to take 5 pa rin. That is your R. We have 5. So, our formula, we have 5 taken 5 is equal to n factorial over n minus r factorial. That is our formula. So, we have, just substitute, our n, we have 5 factorial over 5 minus 5 factorial. This is equal to 5 minus 5, we have 0 factorial, and then 5 factorial meaning 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. When you multiply 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, the answer is 120 over 0 factorial is equivalent to 1. Take note of that, 0 factorial is always equal to 1. So, 120 divided by 1 is equal to 120 ways. So, we have 120 ways for us to arrange the 5 photo in a shelf. So, that is one way of answering this question. Meron pang isa. Let us use the fundamental principles of counting. So, paano yon? So, di ba meron tayong 5 photo album? So, lagay ka dyan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, meron tayong 5 photo album na need nating i-arrange sa shelf. So, syempre, pag i-arrange mo na siya, doon sa pinakaunang part ng shelf, pwede kang maglagay doon ng 5 photo album. Kahit ano doon po pwede. So, lagay mo dyan 5. The next one, doon sa next part ng shelf, so, since nakapaglagay ka na ng isa dito, kasi count as 1 na yun eh. So, yung 5, nabawasan na ng isa. So, doon sa isang part, 4 na lang yung pwede mong ilagay. Naintindihan? Then, so, nakapaglagay ka na dito ng isang book. Then, another book here. So, syempre, nabawasan na ulit. Nabawasan na ng 2 libro na pwede mong i-arrange siya. So, kapag nakapaglagay ka na dito, 3 na lang yung pagpapalit-palitin mo. So, right here, 3. Okay? Then, the next one, dalawa na lang. And then, for the last one, isa na lang yung pwede mong ilagay dyan. Once na pinaglagay mo na siya dun sa shell. So, we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just multiply mo lang yan. So, 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times 1. The answer here is 120 ways. Yan. Is it clear? So, gamit ka ng formula or just a fundamental principles of countings. Let us have another example. Number 2. In how many ways can 6 students be seated in a single row of chairs? So, this one, ilan yung involved nating objects? So, we have 6 students. So, that is your N. We have 6 students. That is your object. Ngayon, yung 6 students mo, kailangan mo daw siyang paupuin doon sa 4 na chair lang. So, ilang beses mo siya po pwedeng pagpalit-palitin doon sa 4 na chair na yon. So, we are going to take only 4 students. So, your R here is 4 students lang. So, 6 taken 4. Kasi 4 chairs lang ang ating involved. Is it clear? So, therefore, we have 6 P4. 6, ang tetake lang natin ay 4. Kasi 4 chairs lang tayo. So, we have N factorial over N minus R factorial. So, you have 6 factorial over N minus R, that is 6 minus 4 factorial, equals 6 factorial over 2 factorial. Yan. Why 2? 6 minus 4 is 2. Then, simplify. You have 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 factorial over 2 factorial. Cancel 2 factorial. It left 6 times 5 times 4 times 3. The answer here is 360 ways. So, 360 ways sila pwede mong i-arrange. Okay? Next tayo, another solution. In this case, 4 na chair lang ang involved. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yan. Yan lang yung imumultiply natin, yung 4 na yan. So, syempre, doon sa unang pwesto, yung 6 students po pwede sila. Ayan. Pwede sila lahat magpalit-palit dyan. Then, meron ka na ditong isa. So, syempre, sa susunod na upuan, nabawasan na ng isa, kaya magiging na lang 5. Yan. Then, nadagdagan. So, yung dalawa nakapwesto na. So, doon sa pangalawa, ilan na lang yung po pwedeng magpalit-palit dyan. So, we have 4. So, the next one, we have 3. Then, multiply mo lang. Ganun lang kasimple. So, kung mapapansin nyo, pareha siya dito. 6 times 4 times 3. 6 times 5 times 4 times 3. The answer here is 360 ways. Ayan. Is it clear? Let's have another example. Number 3. In the class of Miss Lopez, suppose there will be an election. In how many ways can a president, a treasurer, and a secretary be chosen among 7 candidates? So, our involved objects here is, our N is 7 candidates. Ayan. And then, choose lang tayo ng ilan. We have president, treasurer, and secretary. So, 3 lang ang ating pipiliin. We are going to take 3 students only or 3 candidates. So, ilang beses daw sila po pwede? Let us have, since we have 7 taken 3 only, we have 7p3 is equal to n factorial over n minus r factorial. So, this one is equal to 7 factorial over 7 minus 3 factorial. So, it is equal to 7 factorial over 7 minus 3, we have 4 factorial, is equal 7 times 5, times 6 times 5 times 4 factorial. Pwede ka na mag-stop doon. Then, copy here, 4 factorial. Cancel, cancel. So, we have 7 times 6 times 5. The answer here is 210 ways. Ayan, 210 ways sila po pwede. So, kapag naman fundamentals of counting, so we have 3, tatlong posisyon yung pagpipili-pilian. So, ilan candidates ang pwede sa una? So, syempre, 7. So, dun sa pangalawa, ilang candidates ang susunod? Syempre, 6 na lang. Kasi, nakaupo na yung isa. So, dun sa huli, so, ang pwede na lang ay 5 tao. So, we have 7 times 6 times 5, parehas po. So, the answer is 210 ways. So, kung mapapansin mo, kung marunong ka umintindi ng problem, sa pamamagitan lang ng fundamental principles of counting, masasagutan mo na siya agad-agad. No need to have this long formula of permutation. Is it clear? Let's have another one example. Number 4. The difference between US and the Philippine zip code is that US zip code comprises 5 digits. Assume we use the 5-digit zip code of a place in the US. How many different zip codes can be made with the digits 0 to 9 if no digits is used more than once? And the first is not 0. When you say not more than once, hindi pwedeng mag-repeat yung ating numbers. So, let us have the solution. So, fundamentals na lang tayo. So, sabi dito, 5 ang ating kukunin na numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So, dun sa unang number, hindi po pwede si 0. Ang 0 to 9 ay composed of 10 numbers, diba? So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So, these are 10 numbers, equivalent to 10 numbers. So, dun sa unang numbers, hindi po pwede si 0. So, therefore, ilan na lang yung po pwedeng number dito? So, syempre, hindi pwede si 0, siyam na lang. So, right here, 9. Gets? Next tayo. Sa next number, pwede na po si 0. Pero, wala na yung isang number. Nagigets nyo? Nakapwesto na yung isang number dito. At yung number na yun ay hindi po nang po pwedeng maulit. Did you get it? Since hindi na po pwedeng maulit yung number na yun, ilang number pa ang po pwede mong ipwesto dun sa second number? Eh, meron ka na isa dito. Ito, 10. Nakalagay ka na ng isa dito. So, therefore, yung 10, nabawasan ulit ng isa. We have here 9 na. Is it clear? O, sunod. So, since dalawa na ang nakapwesto dito, dalawang numbers na ang nakapwesto, so, what would be the next one here? Nabawas ka na ng dalawang numbers, so, matitira na lang ay 8. Next is 7. Next is 6. So, ganun lang po kasimple. So, times mo lang yan. Times, times, times. Okay, ulitin ko Kaya ito naging 9 kasi bawal ang 0. So, do not include 0 in the first number. So, tanggal mo. So, 9 numbers na lang ang involved. Kaya 9 ang ilalagay natin sa unang number. Sumunod na number, bakit 9 ulit? Kasi, 10 number ang given, tama? So, binawasan na natin ng isa dito at included na si 0. So, binawasan na natin yung 10, magiging na lang siyang 9. Then, 8, 7, and then 6. So, if you multiply 9 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6, the answer here is 27,216. So, this is the number of ways. Is it clear? So, 27,216 different zip codes. Okay, different zip codes po ang pwede mong makuha. Ayan. So, that's the answer. Let's have another example. Last na. Number 5. How many 4-letter words can be formed in the word journal? As you can see in the word journal, so magkakaiba yung kanyang mga letters. Yan. Walang magkakamukha dyan. So, since walang magkakamukha, 4-letter words lang daw. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So, dun sa una, let's count how many objects do we have in the word journal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So, start here with 7. So, since meron ka na ditong unang number, unang letter, so, nabawasan na yung 7 na, naging 6 na lang. 6, then 5, then 4. Then, just multiply. 7 times 6 times 5, then times 4. The answer here is 840. Yan. 840 4-letter words. So, yan yung mabubuo mo sa word journal. Is it clear? So, o kaya, gamit ka ng formula. Yun nga lang, we have 7 taken 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 taken 4. So, yan yung gagamitin mo. 7 factorial over 7 minus 4. The answer is 3 factorial. So, we have 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 factorial over 3 factorial. Cancel, cancel. Ito na lang yung natira, nakamukha nito. So, the answer natin is 844 4-letter words. Is it clear? So, that is linear permutation. Let's move with the circular permutation. Circular permutation. So, the number of permutation of n distinct object arranged in a circle, the formula is, we have the circular permutation is equal to n minus 1 factorial. So, yan lang yung ating formula. Object minus 1, then factorial. So, we have, in how many ways can 6 people be seated on a round table? So, dito, kailangan alamin mo kung yung kanyang problem naman ay involve ang circular manner. So, since in number 1, sa round table daw, ilang ways daw pwedeng maupo yung 6 people. So, by using this formula, you have your n, here given is 6 people. So, the answer is equal to P is equal to 6 minus 1, permutation of the circle, 6 minus 1 factorial is equal to 6 minus 1, we have 5 factorial. Then, it is equal to 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. We have 120 ways. So, ganun lang kasimple si circular permutation. Let's have another example. Number 2. In how many ways can 8 keys be arranged in key ring? So, key ring is a circle. So, this one is a circular permutation. So, therefore, our formula, we have n minus 1 factorial. So, our n, we have 8 minus 1 factorial. So, we have 7 factorial. It is equal to 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. The answer is 5,040 ways. Yan na. Number 3. In how many ways can 5 children be seated at a round table if 2 children insist on sitting next to each other? So, merong 5 children, yun nga lang, merong 2 na gusto ay magkasama sila. Diba? 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children. Tapos, itong dalawa na to, gusto, lagi silang magkasama dun sa table. So, this one is a special case of circular permutation. So, itong dalawa, ika-count natin as 1. Count natin yan as 1. So, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 4 na lang yung objects natin. Naintindihan? Dahil lagi nga po silang magkasama. So, therefore, ang n na lang natin, we have 4 objects. So, let us have the formula of a circular pa rin kasi round table ang pinag-uusapan. So, you have n minus 1 factorial. So, count na lang natin as 1 yung dalawang bata. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we have 4 minus 1 factorial is equal to 3 factorial. Okay? So, 3 factorial is equal to 3 times 2 times 1. The answer here is 6. So, dun pa lang yon. Kaso, syempre, etong dalawang bata na to, pwede pa tong magpalitan. So, permutate pa natin yan. So, ang permutation naman ng dalawang bata na yan is 2 factorial. Kasi 2 times 1, diba? So, yung dalawang bata, pwede pang magpalitan. That is, dito, pwedeng dalawa pa. Then, kapag nakapwesto na yung isa na lang sa kabila. Kaya, we have 2 factorial. Is it clear? So, we have 6 times 2 factorial or we have 6 times 2 times 1. The answer is 12 ways. So, that is it. So, kailangan alam nyong umintindi ng problem. So, nag-consider ako na yung dalawang batang magkatabi ay isa na lang. Then, magiging count na lang niya is 4 objects na lang. After that, when I already found the 3 factorial, so, lumabas na si 6. Huwag niyong kalimutan na yung dalawang bata, pwede pa silang magpalitan ng pwesto. Kaya, imumultiply mo pa ulit yung kanyang permutation kay 6. So, ang permutation ng dalawang bata is 2 times 1 or 2 factorial, then multiply it into 6. The answer is 12 ways. Is it clear? So, that is circular permutation. Let's move with the last kind of permutation. Permutations with identical objects or indistinguishable items. It means not all are different. So, the objects are not distinct. So, merong object na magkakapare-parehas. So, these are the formula. So, the numbers of permutation of n objects for which A are alike, B are alike, C are alike, and so on is permutation is equal to n factorial over or divided by a factorial, b factorial, and c factorial. N factorial is the total number of objects. Then, si a factorial kung ilang beses umuulit ang letters or yung object. Alright? Let's have an example. Sabi dito, in how many ways can the letters of the word calculus be arranged? As you can see in the word calculus, may mga umuulit na letra. Sino yun? Si letter L, si letter C, si letter U. Is it clear? Now, how many objects are involved here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, our n here is 8. So, we have P is equals to 8 factorial. Now, sino si A, B, at saka C? That are the letters involved in this object. So, si C, ilang beses umulit? Si C ay 2. So, that is 2 factorial. Next, si L ay 2. That is 2 factorial again. Next, si U ay 2 rin. We have 2. That is 2 factorial din. Then, ang hindi umulit dito ay si A at saka si S. That is 1 factorial for A and S is 1 factorial. So, ganun lang. So, yung pinaka-letters lang nung mga given ni calculus. Then, afterwards, simplify mo na. So, we have here 8 factorial. So, 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 factorial over 2 factorial times 2 factorial times 2 factorial times 1 factorial times 1 factorial. So, cancellation tayo. Cancel mo yung 2 factorial there at saka dito. Yung 2 factorial times 2 factorial equal yan kay 4. Cancel mo na to, tanggalin mo na yung 4. So, ang i-multiply na lang natin ay si 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 at saka si times 3. So, ang sagot dyan is 5,040 ways. Ayan. So, that is permutation with identical objects. Okay? So, meron kang objects na magkakamuka. Ito ang formula na gagamitin mo. Is it clear? Let's have another example. 2. How many ways can the letters in the word magalang can be arranged? So, we have how many objects? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 objects. So, may naulit. Ayan, 1, 2, 3. Ayan, si letter A, tsaka si letter G. So, ang gagamitin natin ay permutations with identical objects. So, our formula here is, how many objects? Ang n natin is 8. We have n factorial over a factorial, b factorial, c factorial, and so on and so forth. So, p is equals, our n is 8 factorial over. So, we have a muna. Doon muna tayo sa pinakamaraming na ulit, which is letter A. We have 3 factorial. Kasi 1, 2, 3. Next tayo. Si letter G. Dalawa beses. So, 2 factorial. Then, si letter M, isa lang. Si letter L, isa lang. At si N ay isa lang. So, 1 factorial, 1 factorial, 1 factorial. Yan. Now, let us simplify. We have 8 factorial is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 factorial. Stop ka na dun para makancel mo na to. 3 factorial, then 2 factorial. Kahit wala na to 1 factorial na yan kasi 1 lang naman yan. Cancelled out 3 factorial, cancelled out 3 factorial, then 2 factorial is 2. Cancel mo na to. Ito, divide mo lang to sa 2, magiging na tong 2. Then, multiply mo na lang si 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 and then times 2. The answer here is, we have 3,360 ways. Alright. Number 3. In the parking lot of a car manufacturing company, there are 12 new identical cars where 2 of them are red, 3 are blue, 5 are yellow, and 2 are white. In how many ways can 12 cars be arranged? In this case, we have 12 cars are involved, which is identical. Ang gagamitin natin ay permutations with identical objects. So, our n objects is how many cars? We have here 12. 12 cars are involved. Yun nga lang, magkakaiba sila ng kulay. 2 raw ay red. 3 are blue. 5 are yellow. And then 2 are white. If you add these 4 variants of the car, we have 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 2. The answer is 12. Okay? So, how will you find it? So, we have the permutation is equal to 12 factorial over how many red? We have 2. 3 factorial, which is blue. 5 yellow, that is 5 factorial. And 2 white, that is 2 factorial. Ganun lang kasimple. Ito nga lang, hindi siya letters. Pero, in colors naman siya, which is identical. Kaya, ito po ang ating gagamitin. Is it clear? Next tayo, we have 12 factorial meaning 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 factorial. Stop ka na dyan kasi pwede mo na siyang makancel dito. We have here 2 factorial, 3 factorial, 5 factorial, and 2 factorial. Cancelled out 5 factorial, cancel. And then, the next one, 3 factorial meaning 3 times 2, that is 6. So, cancel mo na yung 3 factorial, cancelled out yung 6. 2 factorial means 2, and 2 factorial means 2. Then, if you multiply 2 factorial times 2 factorial, we have 4. So, cancel mo na to, cancel mo na. Para si 8, divide natin sa 4. The answer here is 2. Then, if you are going to multiply 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 times 2 and times 7, the answer here is 166,320 ways. So, that is the answer. Is it clear? So, yan yung tatlong kinds ng permutation. Yung isa, linear, simpleng permutation lang yon. Yung pangalawa naman ay circular, kapag may nabasa kang round or circle sa given, that is a circular permutation. Kapag naman may naulit na letters o kaya naman may naulit na given na object, ang gagamitin mo naman ay si permutations with identical objects. Is it clear? Now, let us move dun sa permutations with restriction or dun sa permutations na meron given na condition. Okay? Let's move with permutations whose arrangements have restrictions or conditions. Let us have the first example. How many arrangement of letters of the word poetry are possible if, letter A, there are no restriction? So, since there are no restriction, ito lang yung simpleng permutation. So, ano yan? So, let us count. Since magkakaiba naman yung letters niya, as linear permutation lang tayo. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is equal to 6 factorial lang. So, equal lang yan sa 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 then times 1. So, ang sagot lang dyan is 720 ways. Wala siyang condition eh. Okay? So, yun lang yung simple permutation. 6 factorial lang siya. Or kapag naman yan isinimbol mo, that is 6 taken 6. Okay? So, ito rin yung magiging sagot. Next tayo, let us have letter B. Sabi niya, they begin with P and O. So, that is the condition. So, nagbigin ka daw kay P at saka kay O. So, given na yung unang dalawang letra. Sino na lang? So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yung apat na lang. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yan. So, given na to, as 1, count na yan as 1, then another count as 1. So, ilang letters na lang yung natira? Apat na lang. So, start ka na dito, which is 4, then times 3, times 2, times 1. So, ganun lang kasimple. So, 1, si P is count as 1, then times 1. So, 1 times 1, times 4, times 3, times 2, times 1. Bakit times 4? Kasi apat na letra na lang yung natira dun sa word na poetry. Si E-T-R-Y. So, sa apat ka na lang mamimili. Is it clear? So, next one. Bakit 3 na lang yung sumunod? Kasi nailagay mo na yung isang letra, 3 na lang yung letters na involved. Is it clear? So, 1 times 1 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So, the answer here is 24. 24 ways. So, 24 ways ang mangyayari kapag begin with P and O. Is it clear? Now, ang sabi niya dito, they do not begin with P and O. So, ilan daw yung hindi nagbibigin kay P at saka kay O? So, what you are going to do? Diba kanina, without restriction, kahit ano po pwede. That is it, 6 factorial. 6 factorial. Ngayon, yung pangalawa, begin with PO. So, isusubtract natin siya dito sa 6 factorial, which is minus 4 factorial yan. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Or simply, we have 720 minus 24. So, the answer is 696 ways. Is it clear? So, kailangan naintindihan mo yung problema. The given problem. So, dapat dito, no restriction. So, lahat po pwede. Lahat ng ways. Then, doon sa pangalawa, begin daw with P and O. So, yung nakuha natin dito ay 24 lang. Then, doon sa pangatlo, they do not begin with PO. So, ilang ways yon. So, from the restriction, no restriction, subtract mo lang doon sa nagbegin with PO. The answer is 696 ways. Is it clear? Let's have another one. Letter D. They have PO together in order. When you say in order, kailangan in such place na si P at saka si O. So, hindi po pwedeng magkabaliktad si O at saka si P. Is it clear? So, since in order siya, so meron tayong P at saka O, considered na one item to. Then, sino pa ang wala? Si E, T, R, at saka si Y. E, T, R, at saka si Y. So, ilan yon? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay? So, pwede itong magkabali-baliktad. So, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Magkakaroon na lang tayo ng 5 objects. Is it clear? And then, pwede na siyang magkabali-baliktad ng pwesto. So, since 5 objects is that, so in every object, pwede kang magkaroon ng 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Naintindihan? So, ang sagot dito is 120. Ayun na yan. 120 arrangement. Okay? So, next tayo. Sabi naman dito, they have PO together any order. Any order. So, meaning, pwedeng magkabaliktad si PO. Okay? So, PO. So, same process. Si PO ay magkatabi. Ayan. So, count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects ulit siya. So, meaning, that is 5 factorial. And then, so, since any order daw, si P at saka si O, pwede siyang magkapalitan, which is 2 factorial. Kaya, multiply mo ngayon si 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 kay 2 times 1, which is 5 factorial times 2 factorial. So, ang sagot dyan is 240 arrangement. Is it clear? So, kailangan intindihin mabuti ang sitwasyon. Sige, isa pang more example pa. Letter F. They have POE together in any order. So, meaning si PO and E ay magkakatabi pero pwede siyang mapalit-palitan ng order. So, how is it? So, we have P, O, and E. Isa yan. And then, meron pang, ito, isa. Then, may matitirang 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, we have here 4 factorial. Okay? So, we have 4 factorial. And then, afterwards, any order. So, si PO at saka si E, pwede pa siya magkapalit-palit. That is 1, 2, 3. That is 3 factorial. So, just multiply lang. We have 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 3 times 2. If you multiply that, the answer here is 144 arrangement. Okay? Next, letter G. We have P, O, and E are not to be together. So, ngayon, dun sa restriction natin kanina, yung walang restriction, that is 6 factorial. Tama? So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 6 factorial. Yan yung permutation natin kay poetry ng walang restriction. So, yung 6 factorial, so subtract natin yon. Kanino? Doon sa P, O, E, and R na together sila. P, O, and E na together, which is 144. So, therefore, 6 factorial minus 144. So, we have, ang sagot dito ay 720 minus 144. It is equals to 576 arrangement. Ganun lang siya kasimple. Simple na mahirap kasi kailangan mo intindihin yung kanyang sitwasyon. Okay? Let's have another examples po. Number 2. Form a 3-digit number from the choices 1, 2, 4, and 7. For the first condition, there is no repetition of numbers. For the second condition, with repetition of numbers. And for the third condition, first digit is even numbers. Let us have letter A, without repetition of numbers. So, we have 3 digit. 1, 2, 3. 3 digits. So, ang involved natin ay how many objects? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 objects po. Taken lang po natin ay 3. So, we have here 5. So, sa unang digit, pwede kang kumuha ng 5. Then, next, we have 4. We have 3. So, we have 5 times 4 times 3. So, ganun lang kasimple kapag without repetition. Bakit 5? Kasi ang ating object ay 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, 5 yung ating object. So, 5 taken 3 tayo. Permutation. 5 permutation. 5 taken 3 lang. Okay? So, 5 times 4, we have 20. 20 times 3, we have 60. So, we have 60 ways. Ayan. Next tayo. We have with repetition. Pwede daw maulit ang mga numbers. So, we have 1, 2, 3. Since pwedeng maulit ang number, therefore, sa unang digit, pwedeng 5. Then, sa pangalawang digit, pwede ulit 5 kasi pwedeng maulit. Then, sa pangatlo, pwede ulit na 5. So, we have 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 5, the answer is 125. Okay? Letter C. First digit is even number. So, we have 3 digit again. 1, 2, 3. Sabi niya, yung first digit niya is even number. So, it's either 2 or 4. So, ilan yung even natin pwede maging possible digit? We have dalawa, which is 2 and 4. And then, so, this is 2 or 4. Now, meron ka na isang number dito. After that, yung pangalawang digit mo, mamimili ka na lang doon sa natira. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay? So, 4 na lang yung natira mo. Then, times 3. 3 numbers na lang yung natira mo. Then, multiply mo na yan. 2 times 4 times 3. So, the answer here is 12 times 2. We have 24 ways. Yan. So, that is the answer. Number 3. How many ways can 5 boys and 5 girls be seated at a round table if, letter A, no restriction? So, since no restriction siya, add lang natin yung 5 boys and 5 girls. Therefore, ang n natin ay 10. Yan. So, round table tayo, ang ating gagamitin ay n minus 1 factorial. So, we have 10 minus 1 factorial, that is 9 factorial. So, 9 factorial is 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2. Sagot po dun ay 362,880. So, yun lang yan. Ways. Next tayo. Letter B. The girls and boys are to occupy alternate seats. So, since alternate siya, boys, girls, boys, girls, boys, girls, you are going to assign a boy in a specific chair na. Then, you will let other 4 be seated around the table. So, we are going to find the number of ways that 5 boys can be seated around the table. Tsaka natin ipapasok si girls. Okay? So, kapag boys within the round table, di ba, ang boys natin ay 5. So, that is your n. So, to permutate, find the permutation of that in a round table, we have p is equals to n minus 1 ulit, factorial. So, we have 5 minus 1 factorial. The answer here, we have 4 factorial is equal to 24. So, si boys ay 24 ways. Paano naman po si girls? So, nailagay mo na si boys doon sa kanilang pwesto, then ipapagitna mo na si girls. Diba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ayan yung 5 boys. So, ngayon, ipapagitna mo na yung mga babae. So, ipapagitna mo na yung mga babae. So, para na siyang linear permutation na. So, si babae, si girls, ang permutation na ni girls is 5 factorial na. Okay? Pinaka-permutation na. Palinear na siya. Kasi, naiikot natin na si boys, ilalagay mo na lang si girls dun sa gitna ng mga lalaki. Is it clear? So, therefore, si girls ay 5 factorial, then multiply natin yung nakuha natin kay boys, which is 24. So, 5 factorial is equal to 120, then multiply to 24. The answer is 2,880. So, ganun siya. Okay? So, pwede rin naman ang unahin mo ay si si girls bago si boys. So, same process din naman siya. Is it clear? So, let's have another condition with this number. C. 3 particular girls must sit together. So, yung tatlo daw na girls kailangan magkakasama. So, meron tayong 5 boys, tapos plus 2 girls na lang. 2 girls. Tapos, plus 1 group, yung 3 girls. Ayan. So, if you add this 3, we have 5 plus 2 plus 1. The answer is 8. So, 8 objects na lang yung ating involved. Okay? Then, let us find the permutation with that group. We have here, P is equals to 8 minus 1 factorial. So, the answer here is 7 factorial, which is equal to 5,040. 7 factorial pa lang yan. Pero, itong isang grupo na to, itong one group na to, yung tatlong tao na yan, pwede pa siyang magkapalit-palit. Naintindihan? Since pwede pa siya magkapalit-palit, that is 3 girls, that is 3 factorial. Yung 3 factorial na yon, imumultiply mo siya doon sa 7 factorial mo, which is 5,040. So, 3 factorial, this is 3 times 2 times 5,040 is equal to 30,240. Ayun na. Okay? So, condition after condition pa ulit. Isa pang situation. Letter D. All girls must sit together. So, you have here again 5 boys. So, si girls ay sit together plus 1 group na lang siya. So, therefore, we have 6. 6 objects na lang po tayo. And then, round table again. So, you have P is equals to 6 minus 1 factorial. The answer is 5 factorial, which is equal to 120. Then, afterwards, si one group na to, pwede pa ulit itong magkapalit-palit. Okay? That is 5 factorial. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Then, multiply mo ulit kay 120. Ito yun. So, ito yung kay girls to kay girls. Yan. So, 5 factorial times 5 factorial, bali ang mangyayari. So, the answer is 120 multiplied by 120, it is equal to 14,400. Okay, so that is it. So, that is our lesson for today. So, hopefully, may natutunan po kayo. Intindihin po mabuti ang questions para po hindi kayo malito. Is it clear? Understanding is the key po at saka listening po sa ating discussion. So, kung meron pa kayong tanong or hindi nyo magets masyado, chat lang po kayo sa ating or comment lang po kayo sa ating inbox para po masagot ko kayo yung inyong mga katanungan. So, thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye!